War of Dalam. Okay. Firstly, I'm a guy from Latvia. I'm an architect, and my name is Ervins. I came from my small country at the shores of the Baltic Sea in the north region of Europe to explore Chinese opportunities. And here today in China, we're going to visit the third biggest library in China. Personally, I am in love with books. I do like to touch them, I do like to open the books, like to smell them, because that's something that captures your soul, right? Guys, can you imagine the thing I'm holding right now in my hands? This is something amazing. This is something that 1500 years ago, in the name of a king, of emperor, they did this incredible work. In 9 years, they collected more than 36,000 different volumes of books because the king wanted to have all the important things to be written on the paper. It's a pity that, unfortunately, only a few books out of 7 big books, and we can see them just behind my back on more than 10 different shelves, and only a few of them survived. Today, we have different ways how we read the books. For example, back then they read from the right to the left, and this is the beginning actually, which is pretty strange. For example, in Europe, we do read books like this, right? And this is another thing that we can share between the cultures. We have different ways how we see the words and how we interpret the words and how we see the history. And it's very important to combine this knowledge and to come up with something valuable. I think this is the place where we can do that. Well, guys, frankly speaking, I'm speechless. I mean, yeah, I can imagine how you repair the books. I can imagine how important is that, but I mean, it's very important to have some particular set of skills to do that. And first of all, is some physical skills. I don't think my big hands, they could fit on this paper. Probably they will cover all the paper. However, it requires so much energy and so much detailed work to do all these things. Education of such people, I think, is very important because, I mean, I could not do that. Even though I'm an architect, I can do a lot, but to do this thing, it's crazy. For me, as for an architect, it's very interesting to observe how basically from the cave drawings many thousands of years ago, this thing developed to something like called printing machine. At this point, I use the press and my strength to imprint a new thing on the paper. It was not always that way, because only 550, 100 years ago, approximately, a printing machine was invented. And starting that point, we as humans, we could start to copy the things and copy books and spread the knowledge around the world. Here in China, we have so many opportunities. We have mobile phones, we have television, we have internet. And another thing we have, and that maybe we're starting to forget about, is books. One of the recent books I have written here in China is Art of War by Sun Jin. The thing I like about this book is it's not about only military actions and some historical events that happened 2,000 years ago, but it's also very useful for me as a future manager, because sometimes people have these difficult decisions to make, and then these kind of knowledge and these kind of wisdoms shared in this book, they're very important, because sometimes we have the questions and we need to find answers. Yes, you can Baidu answers on the internet, but yes, you can also read them in such books. And from that perspective, it would be a pity if such a big thing, a historical page in our history, human history, would disappear just because we run out of desire to read books. It's very important to raise awareness of all the cultural heritage we have. The scale doesn't matter at this point. The thing that matters is how we bring these things together and how we raise awareness of people in all these different cultural backgrounds. In that way, I would say maybe such initiative as One Belt, One Road initiative that China is right now carrying on and trying to connect the continent, I think it's a good thing. Nothing was built in one day. Even the great book we just watched over here, it took 9 years to fulfill and to combine all these pages together into one encyclopedia. Behind all these things, there are so many people, so many educated people, professionals that do that job. And that's very important to be thankful to them. And I think this day was one of the great days I had. Thank you, China, for that.